Hi, I'm Bill Triber with Artistic Finishes, and today's training session is going to be revolving around a 3/8 inch vent installation. That's a flush vent. You know, it's only a matter of time before you're going to come to a job site and have to install an engineered floor. And with today's changing thicknesses, one of the first things that we recommend is making sure you know the actual thickness of that floor. And so we do recommend using a caliper. Now when you get into floors like this, I automatically convert mine over. Most of the calipers will give you the option of fractions of inch and or millimeters. I just happen to have this set on millimeters after actually looking at this supposed 3/8 inch thick floor, as the manufacturer tells us. It's a little bit shy of that. It's coming in at about 7.6 millimeters. We know that there's 25.4 millimeters in an inch. Should be a little over 8 millimeters. And then when I measure our vent that we would install, we're going to see that that's a little bit thicker, not much. That's coming in at closer to 8.4 millimeters. So we don't have much of a discrepancy, but we now know, at least going in, that this floor is a little bit thinner than the vent that's being installed. So how do we make that adjustment? Well, many guys would look at this, and installers, and would say, well, the discrepancy there can easily be made up with some adhesive, and that's true. If the floor is being floated, however, you may not want to put any adhesive under it. You may, however, have to be doing that on your vent. Okay? So there's ways to adjust that. You will notice here, one of the things that I've done to adjust the thickness of the vent is I've built up the underlayment with a couple added sheets. In doing that and measuring it with our caliper, we can gain about 3/4 of a millimeter with each underlayment section being added. And so that is a variable that you can use, which will also help you with probably the biggest question we get on 3/8 inch vents. Is you'll notice that the insert portion, the louver portion of the vent, is actually thicker than the frame itself. The reason is that when you get into thinner vents, this is a rabbeted edge here that we're working with, you have to have enough wood to be able to put on a easy glide damper, because the gliding portion of the damper, and these just insert like that, slip over this edge, okay? But if you don't have a damper, and in this case when you have to lower that thickness to make it fit into the area where the vent is going to go, you can do what I did a couple different ways. This now is basically the same thickness as the frame itself. So the insert has been thinned down. You can either use a palm sander, which is a little bit more discretionary. And if you do use a palm sander, I recommend that you preset with a pen, a line that you're going to erase as you do your sanding. Or if you have a time saver, a planer that you can run this through, you'll be able to bring it down as well. Okay? Now by doing that, you do compromise the structural integrity of this little lip if you're going to try to still go with a damper. So keep that in mind as a precautionary. But what it will enable you to do is then to insert this section, the louver portion of your vent, so that everything can be flush without having to worry about the opening. The other option to dampers would be to install a box damper. And a box damper is going to go down into the opening. These on a 4x12, just so you know, they are running 3 3/4 of an inch wide. So they should easily sit down into the duct opening. And the lengths on these are about 11 3/4. So on length and on width, the box itself as a damper unit should fit right into the duct opening and work for you nicely. So those are a few of the different options. And of course, when installing the vent itself, you do have the option of nailing on that fin to get it down. Or if you want to build the vent up a little bit, you can always use adhesive. And you may use that in addition to your stapling or nailing of the vent. In which case, you have the MS-245 adhesive that we recommend. It's a very high green grab, and it's a very quick curing adhesive, which is antimicrobial, it's waterproof, it's going to stick to really any of the building component parts that you're going to come in contact with. So that's just a few of the things that I would really like you to focus on. Know your floor thickness, know your vent thickness, know if you're going to be putting in a damper, and from there you have the option of either building the floor up around using extra sheets of underlayment, or taking down your insert portion of your vent, and you should end up with a very successful install. I hope this has helped you. If you have additional questions, don't ever hesitate to contact us here at Artistic Finishes. We want to make your jobs as successful as possible, and we thank you for being with us today. Bye now.